What's going on, everybody? Brian here for Body by Burgers, and today I'm going to be talking about what I'm changing in my diet, why I'm changing it, why I'm implementing it, all that fun stuff. Um, Basically, the diet that I'm going to go for is if it fits your macros. Now, I'm sure you've heard this about a billion times, and there's been about 300,000 videos out there about it, but I'm going to go into a little bit of detail here for you. So I'm going to start off by describing what a macronutrient is. So there's essentially three things you got to be concerned about. First off, carbs. Second off, fats. Third and most important is your protein. So basically, the reason that these three are tracked in the macronutrients is it's basically the three things that your body needs to function and live on a day-to-day basis. So when you're looking at your macronutrients and why they're so important, that's it, right? It's what your body needs to live. So basically, why they are so important is you got to break them down individually. So basically, carbs, their main function is to provide energy for the body. Um, Carbs are not the enemy, people. If you are eating a ton of carbs and not working out or doing it or using them in your day-to-day function, that's where they become the enemy. Your body needs carbs to survive, to fuel, to go. So if you're not using your carbs, they end up turning into sugar. Simple fact is carbs aren't the enemy, just use them. And that's why first thing there is finding out how many carbs your body needs on a day-to-day basis is so important because you know you're going to use them and you're not going to end up wasting them and turning them into sugar. Second off is fat. Fat again is not the enemy. It's not, as much as the word fat has a negative connotation to it. It is not the enemy. Its main function is to be a backup source of energy for when carbs aren't available. It has two other purposes to it. The other purpose is number one, it helps your body absorb nutrients, minerals, all that fun stuff while you're intaking them, as well as it helps regulate your body's temperature. So those are two pretty big things over and above the added energy source. Protein is the third one, and essentially, I think it's the most important for what I'm trying to go for anyway. And it's actually the biggest number once you start getting into macro counting. The biggest thing that protein's going to do is actually going to help your body recover. You're not going to feel sore the next day. And fitness, a lot of the gauges off fitness is actually on how fast you can recover. Protein's huge. Especially because when you're doing weight training, what you're doing is you're taking your muscle fibers and you're tearing them, right? So the protein has amino acids in it that help rebuild your muscles back the way they are and stronger. And that's the entire point of weight training. Um, so those are what your macros are: is your carbs, your fats, your proteins. Um, Now, why am I tracking them? Why are they so important? Well, simply put, I hit a plateau. The last 2, 3 weeks, I really haven't had a ton of weight loss. I've been clean eating, but not, to the point that I could be. Um, so I figured that hey, macros kind of important. And the nice thing is if you're literally basing your diet just on those three things, the carbs, the fats, and the proteins, um, it allows for some flexibility. The nice thing is like we all know that again, I love burgers. I do burger reviews, all that fun stuff. So it's if I base it on those three things, then I know that I'm still going to be able to lose weight. I'm going to be eating clean 85% of the time. But if I want that burger, I can have that burger. I just got to plan it a little bit ahead for it. So, like, say for breakfast, I know burgers are going to have a bun. The carbs are going to be a little bit higher. There's protein in the burger, so I can dial back the carbs that I'm having earlier in the morning to allow for a burger at lunch or supper. So it's a little more flexible that way, and that I think is something that I can and achieve. Another thing as well that I found out once I started tracking these macros is that I simply wasn't eating enough. And I know it sounds super counterintuitive that to lose weight you need to eat more food, But here's what happens is once your body doesn't get enough food, it actually has a survival mechanism in there to say that, hey, you're not getting enough food, so once I do get food, I'm going to store it for desperate times. And essentially, if you're doing that every day to your body, it's just going to continue to store. So what's going to happen is, like in my case, is that I was storing the food when I was eating it, but I was also burning what was there. So I was essentially becoming malnourished, and that's not going to get you anywhere either. So what I did is I went to a few different sites. All I did was go into Google and type in macro calculators. And the one that I felt that really fit the most and was the most professional, most reliable, and had the best reviews was actually from a place called IIFYM.com. So ifitfitsyourmacros.com. And it was super, super professional. They provided tons of support afterwards. So basically, the way it broke it down for me, because I'm in a sales position, I'm walking around, running around all day, plus doing all my workouts. The way it broke it down for me is that each day I need 103 grams of carbs, 138 grams of fat, and 275 grams of protein. Now, that sounds like a ton, but simply put, it's because of my mass. All of it combined, it told me that it should be coming out to 2,752 calories. So when I very first started this whole weight loss thing, I was really putting myself on like 1,900 calories, somewhere around there. Carbs, I didn't really calculate, but if I averaged them out, I was probably sitting around the 70, 80 grams of carbs per day. Fats, I never tracked fat at all, so I had really had no idea where I was at. And the amount of protein, I was probably sitting right around the 125 mark a day for my protein. So now I know that I simply wasn't getting enough nutrients to fuel the body for the exercise that I was doing, to fuel the muscles to get better and perform better. So now that I know that, going forward, I'm tracking my macros. I'm still going to be eating burgers, and I'm going to be a lot more successful because now I know what I need to eat in a day. So that's the information I have for you guys today. Any questions, concerns, make sure you put them in the comment section below. Make sure to give this video a like, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And until next time, guys, burger power.